Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like my videos, please smash that like button. Please do subscribe. Sunday morning. Good morning. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning. The dwarf planet Pluto was first discovered on this day in 1930. Fun fact: Pluto takes 248 Earth years to orbit around the Sun.
Alexa, what's the time, please?
Good morning, Crystal. The time is 8:41 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
Today is Sunday, the 18th of February.
Alexa, what's the weather like?
Currently, in Rochester it's 10 degrees Celsius with showers. Today, you can expect rainy weather, with a high of 14 degrees and a low of 6 degrees. Also, there's a yellow warning for rain in effect until Sunday 18th of February, 12 p.m.
Alexa, can you tell me Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
What's a pirate's favorite kind of seafood? Pieces of skate.
And Alexa, whose birthday is it today? Alexa, whose birthday is it today?
Today's famous birthdays include American rapper, record producer, entrepreneur and actor from California Dr. Dre, American actor, dancer and singer John Travolta, Japanese artist, author, and peace activist Yoko Ono, American actor, singer, dancer, and author Molly Ringwald, and American personal trainer, reality show personality, talk show host and entrepreneur Jillian Michaels.
So Alexa, how old is Dr. Dre?
Dr. Dre is 59 years old.
Oh, we're all getting older. I remember Eminem and Dr. Dre. And Eminem must be getting on now as well. Alexa, how old is Eminem?
Eminem is 51 years old.
51. Way back when I was living in Camden in London, it could have only been for a couple of months. I think it was in 2004. The person I went to stay with had stacks of CDs, and there was Shaggy, Dr. Dre and Eminem. 2004, because Eminem was prominent in the early 2000s, because this is how I got introduced to Eminem's music. My ex-husband was at work and he came home one day and he said, have you heard this guy's music? I went, and he said, this new song, I'm the Slim Shady or something like that, and I went, no, I've not heard it. He said he's a brilliant rapper, he's fantastic. And then I started watching MTV, and one of the first videos I saw of Eminem was I'm the Slim Shady, I'm the real Slim Shady, all you others are imitating. And he had little dwarves in his video. He had little dwarves and that in his video, and I thought he was a great rapper at that time. And then all that 50 Cent coming about, and all that Coolio, Jay-Z, and all that type of music, and that's how I got introduced to that type of music, because I was more into Madonna and pop music rather than rap. So my ex-husband introduced me to Eminem's music. So last night I told you what happened with the Sainsbury's driver. I mean, I've got a clean set of clothes on every day. Clean socks, clean clothes, clean underwear. So whatever smelt in his van, I hope it's not smelling now. I came indoors last night and I just, like I said, when you're stuck indoors all day, you can get like stir crazy, little things piss you off that shouldn't. And when you're not feeling well, it can feel 10 times worse. So I'm trying to control my anger and not get angry, basically, and just let it ride over. When things like once you lose it, once you've gone, you know, that's it. And your stress levels burst, and you let it all out, and yeah, but it has dire consequences on other people, you see. It doesn't get directed where it should. And you shouldn't really shout at people and get angry. You should have a quiet word with them and say, look, this is what's bothering me. Why are you doing it? Can you stop? And if you can't, don't stop. I'll do something about it. But do it in a positive way rather than yelling or shouting. And I know it's difficult because I've lost my temper several times with irritating, annoying and uncaring, unsympathetic, wicked people. So, we got messages last night off of TikTok, and I am a woman, you're a beautiful lady, Ugo City, UGO City, you're a beautiful lady. And I went, well, you've got that right, I am a lady, I am a female, and they've got me mixed up with someone else. Because they're sending me pictures of these really, really, really thuggish looking, bald-headed men, and my front teeth, they're not straight. They ain't straight. And I don't smoke, so my teeth ain't black or brown with stains like that. They're not smokers' teeth. So they're sending me pictures of a bloke with, like, I can't explain it, gaps in their teeth and black smokers' teeth. So they're all, the teeth have all got gaps in. They've got more teeth than me, actually. And they're all black and they're all brown with cigarette stains, and I don't smoke. So it's like taking the piss, like, you're a beautiful lady. But say it once, and fair enough. But why do they keep doing it? Oh, you are a beautiful lady. You're a really nice woman. And yeah, but why do you keep doing it? You've said it once. Why are you repeating yourself? I am a woman. I know that. If you're taking the piss and you think otherwise, then you're completely wrong, and that's your problem, not mine. Isn't it? That's their problem. Have they bothered to look? Have they bothered to come up to me and ask? No. They're just trolls who get the wrong end of the stick. They have not got a clue about how someone lives. They've never met them, or if they have, they've just got a chip on their shoulder or a grudge that they, you know, that's going to eat you up. If you've got a grudge with somebody, let it go. Let it go. It will eat you up. And not only will you destroy and affect the person that you're aiming for, it will eat you up as well. If somebody's been nasty to you, let it go. Let it go. Find something else to do. You know, listen to some music. Do something, and just get on with your life, because it will eat you up. Mark my words. When someone did something to me on the internet many, many years ago, and they said, I hope your mum dies of AIDS, I thought, my God, and I went looking for them. And the internet is a big space. How are you going to find a bully on the internet? But it had just started up in 2000, and this person was nasty to me for no reason at all, taking the mickey out of my poetry, taking the piss out of me. and I wanted to find out who it was, and it was consuming my life. Every day I wanted to, who said that about my mum? What did they say that for? Why are they picking on me? And my whole life was consumed by trying to find this person. And of course you're not going to find them. They're hiding behind a screen, right? And they're still doing it to me to this day. I still don't know who they are. Now I couldn't care less. They're probably a wrinkled, sad old prune. I couldn't give a shit. They want to be anonymous because they want to show their hatred and their evilness and not let people see who they are. So they're a coward and they're evil and they're not worth anything, are they? If they can't show their face, they're a coward. You know, if you want to show so much hatred, show your face and let everyone see who you are. And let the people decide whether you're a good or bad person. Picking on people that are disabled, picking on their colour, picking on their name. And they pick on everyone, guys, trolls do. You can be as pretty as fuck and they still pick on you. Because they like destroying people. They like watching a person that's got everything fall to the bottom. And then they've done their job. Because their life is shit. And they want yours to be shit like theirs. So today is a Sunday. Sundays are relatively quiet and there's not much to do. It's raining outside here in Rochester, Kent. It's damp and it's wet. I'm going to do what I want to do, right? And that's the end of it. And you can stir shit up. I'm not a violent person. I'm a single middle-aged woman. And yes, to some people I am old. But then I should be respected because I've been on the planet longer than the bully. Or the bullies. So, I mean, it's despicable. Making out I'm a violent criminal. When in fact the perpetrator is out there loose on the streets, probably is being a violent criminal while I'm shut up inside my flat, people trying to stop me speaking and being treated like a piece of poo on someone's shoe. I like the fact that people, right, resort to the lowest of the low to try and get me cross. To make out I'm a mad, insane criminal when they're the mad, insane criminals. There's been a bit of fraud going on, a bit of ID theft, and they're all trying to hide it and making out I'm telling lies and I'm mad when in fact they're breaking the law. And when they're caught, eventually, hopefully, they'll go to prison. What they're doing to me is keeping me locked inside because they're hiding something. So yeah, I was in Camden in 2004. I loved it. I loved the canal parts and the Camden market. If I'd have been with the right partner and had the right support, I probably would have stayed in Camden. But unfortunately, things went wrong and I ended up where I am now. And I lost absolutely everything and I brought myself back up onto my feet, and I'm not letting a bunch of nobodies, cruel trolls and bullies put me down to the bottom where they are. Thank you very much. I won't trawl to the depths of the sewers where the trolls live. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Or pay your energy bills, technical or otherwise, doesn't really mean anything.
Exactly. Technical, all it means is that in the second half of 23, we did have a technical recession, which means that we had 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. So growth being GDP, that gross domestic product, also meaning economic growth in the UK. And it meant that we had 2 consecutive quarters of negative, so it wasn't growing. But this will come as a shock to absolutely no one.
Absolutely. I mean, I was pointing out yesterday to the listeners that we've essentially had flatlining growth for 10 years, 1.5%, I think, on average, 2%.
Exactly, and we had such low growth last year, but like I said, it will shock no one. We've seen the individuals spending less last year, less pay rises, and that all leads to this economic growth. But yeah, it is unfortunately a technical recession, but we're all seeing the follow-on of that now, and really it shouldn't have changed anything over the last few days since the news came out. It's just a kind of...
If you were skint then, you're still skint now, nothing's really changed.
Well, the inflation figures came out, so that's a bit more recent information than the recession, because obviously the recession was looking at the end of last year. Inflation figures came out for Jan year to date at flat 4%, which is again not the most exciting finance news week because it's flat, but it should mean that things become a bit more interesting March 6th for the new spring budget, where they will obviously have to be making actionable changes to help people out, because inflation is not coming that close to that 2% target yet, and we're all feeling it. But I would say that if that inflation target, or the inflation figure of 4% this week, means that please go and look at your savings account and make sure that you are getting savings rates higher than that 4%, so you're beating inflation. That's really, really important.
Okay, because I'm mindful of the fact that inflation, even if it goes down to 2%, is still inflation. It'll be, if we get there, it'll be 2% on top of the peak of whatever 16% we had back in last year. It's all 16% for food, but it's all quite hairy out there at the moment. Let me bring you to the dire state of our water companies then. There was a story yesterday suggesting that we may end up receiving their immense debt. That it will be passed on to bill payers. At the moment, the regulator is resisting it, but the suggestion is our bills could go up by 40%, which is about £185 more in Thames Water. Do you think this is going to happen, and if so, when might we see these changes?
Well, we're definitely going to see some changes come into play in April. It tends to happen every April, water bills rise. The conversation at the moment is around 6%, and the frustrating thing with water bills is you can't change your provider like you could with savings accounts or energy bills sometimes. But with water bills, there are things you can do. So things like if you're earning less than 21, do you remember that you have the ability to go onto a social tariff? And if you're not that person, that you can also implement the water meter readings that can help lower bills as well when it comes to your water bills, which, yes, the 12, we saw in January, they announced this lovely 12% to 10% drop in national insurance, saying that they were giving money back to us. But actually, it's just kind of come back to us in one way and gone straight back out in the other way with all these increases.
It's a very familiar story, I have to say. Abigail, lovely speaking to you. Abigail Foster, their spokesperson from Elent. I'm going to have a very quick word with Lindsay and Hornsey, who've been waiting there. Morning, Lindsay.
Hi there. Carrying on from what the guy said about the system being abused,
Yeah, back in the day.
When my mum was 23, so it would be the 1950s, the dentist pulled all her teeth out.
Same with my mum. Same with mine.
Because they got paid for every tooth.
And there was this theory that certainly the argument for my mum was you don't want these dentures that give you a life without problems.
That's the story they told. Yeah. Really, it was because they were getting paid. Although I have been scammed by a private dentist.
Well, you've got that. That's supposed to be the ultimate argument, which I was trying to get across to that last caller, is we can talk about what happened in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s and the 90s, but the real issue is why we can't get an NHS dentist today. And do you have a problem with foreign dentists being fast-tracked?
Well, what will happen is we'll get the foreign dentists in, then all the people will go to the National Health Dentist, and then the private dentists won't be getting anywhere, so then they're just going to have to switch their mind. But my other point about, I've got no problem with NHS dentists, some people need it, but the problem is with it, there's people that don't look after their teeth. Members of my family don't clean their teeth and go to bed at night.
Lindsay, I hear you. it's very difficult, isn't it? Because people can start saying, well, if you play rugby, you cost the NHS more because you get injured. If you smoke, you cost the NHS more, although actually smokers give more than they take out in terms of taxes. I think what we have to do is remember the NHS and its cornerstone philosophy of being free to all at the point of delivery. I think that is what the NHS in its essence should be. Lindsay, lovely talking to you. And thank you to everybody else who rang in. Apologies to those I didn't get to. Now then, we're going to move on because it's something I talked about very briefly earlier in this last hour, and that's the right to protest, fundamental to the core of what it means to live in a free democracy. But a line has to be drawn somewhere, right? And I ask this because this week Tory MP Tobias Ellwood saw, I think, 60 protesters gathered outside his personal home, chanting what appeared to sound quite threatening messages. Now, it's no secret that this government has been trying to limit people's right to protest in public, but where do we draw the line? Surely going to an MP's house and abusing them is too far. What next? Protesting outside Parliament? I think that may make a bit of sense, but there are limits being imposed on that. Disrupting Wimbledon? Well, that's a little bit more contentious. Outside an MP's house, is that acceptable, or is a line being crossed? 03456 973. Give us a call.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom, David Cameron has signalled there could be new sanctions against Russian officials following the death of Alexei Navalny. The Foreign Secretary joined other G7 ministers in calling on Russia to fully clarify how the jailed opposition leader died. Samuel Green is a professor of Russian politics at King's College London. He told LBC he doesn't think Putin will be phased, especially when he believes Western funding for Ukraine will dry up.
Russia has learned to weaponize the sanctions to a certain extent. Look, I don't want to say they're not having an effect, right? They are making things more difficult for the Russian economy. They're increasing the cost of capital. They're making it more expensive for Russia to do everything that it's doing. It's just that for Russia, this is existential. This is mission critical, certainly the way that they see it. And so they have put the entirety of their system on a war footing. And they're not going to let sanctions stop them.
It's been confirmed serial rapist David Carrick is having his police pension stripped from him. The former PC was jailed last year after he admitted dozens of sexual offences against various women. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, says he blatantly abused his position of trust as a police officer. Donald Trump is railing against a judge who gave him a £288 million fine in his New York civil fraud trial. The former US president was campaigning in Michigan yesterday, a state that is expected to be critical in November. White House correspondent for The Independent, Andrew Feinberg, has told LBC this judgment will have a financial impact on Mr. Trump.
That number is going to increase every single day until he pays it. He also has two other judgments against him, one for, I believe, $5 million and the other for just over $83 million.
Nearly half of people with preschool-aged children are said to be taking on debt or using savings to pay for childcare. Research by Pregnant Then Screwed also found a quarter of mothers say they're considering leaving the workforce because of spiralling childcare costs. The government says it's rolling out the largest ever expansion in childcare support in England's history. And it's reported Prince Harry won't be accepted back into working for the royal family while the King has cancer treatment. Reports say the Duke of Sussex had told friends he would step in to help out temporarily. Buckingham Palace hasn't commented.
LBC Weather.
With Ripple Energy, part-owner wind farm for low-cost electricity.
A mostly fine day across the UK. Some showers expected in southern England, a high of 14 degrees. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Lottie Morley.